Well, for you who don't know me, my name's Bill Roberson, and I got into radio when I was 17. I joined the U.S. Coast Guard, and they put me in radio school. And I was a 3-year radioman and on ships. I was on a old cutter in San Juan, the Pandora. And I was on the Coast Guard cutter Taney, which was in San Francisco area, there at Government Island in Oakland. And we did weather stations and go out for a long time, sit out there and work some weather messages back and forth. But anyway, I got out of Coast Guard and got out of ham radio. I was ham for 3 or 4 years, from 61 to about 65. And I went to Germany and let my license expire. And Dan Burchett, who's a member of this club, we were talking in, I guess, 2002, and he said, well, you're a radio operator. I told him I was a radio operator. He said, well, you ought to get into ham radio. So I took the test again and got back into it. And DXing caught my fancy. So I started trying to work all the countries that I could. There are 340 DX entities in the world. And I've got 326 of them. And like they say, there's an old saying in DX community, the first 300 are the easiest. And that's true. That's very true, because my last DX contact was, I guess it was Baker Howland and Willis a year or so ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And my next one will be Midway Island if it comes off, and that's next year in October. So I lack Syria, North Korea, and Turkmenistan that don't allow ham radio. And then the rest of them are uninhabited islands. So, it's a bleak outlook for me, but it's very exciting. The first 300 are very exciting. I can remember when I first worked the Near East, Saudi Arabia and around there, and it's really exciting when a new DX entity comes on. So that's about it for me. I was at a Oklahoma DX Association meeting, and the secretary, Jeff Martin, K5WE, said, I'm thinking about going on a DXpedition to the British Virgin Islands. And I thought, well, that's an opportunity for me to pay back all the DXpeditions that I've worked. So I asked him if he'd take a partner along. And he said, sure. So here we go. We're going to the Virgin Islands. Transportation was a nightmare. You have to take your radios and your masts and your antennas all on an airplane. Well, going through TSA, all the electronics has to be scanned. You have to get it out, show it to them. They have to scan it or whatever they do. And so every time you turn around, everybody wanting you to unpack your stuff and pack it back up. And it was miserable. We flew from Tulsa to Houston and San Juan. We got that was all on 737s. And then when we got to San Juan, the British Virgin Islands is just a little, but maybe 45 minutes by slow airplane from San Juan. So we got on this, if you know what a Cessna 402 is, we got on it, and there were 7 seats or 8 seats in it, and it's just a little 2-engined Lycoming or Continental engine airplane. We flew to Tortola, got our rental car, and got directions. Well, actually, we were taken to our chalet. So, here we go. Right here, oh yeah, okay, we got a pointer. There's the British Virgin Islands right there, and there's San Juan we flew from. Cooper Bay, right up there is Cooten Bay is right in here. And that's where we were, on the north side of the island. Now on the south side, they've got all the tourist attractions, because that's where most of the beaches are. But this is just actually a mountain that sticks out of the ocean. And the sides of it come down at about a 30, 40 degree angle, you know, and the roads are terrible. And we had a really nice place to live. You'll see that later on, but it was hard getting around. Jeff is not directionally challenged like I am, so he was the driver, and we got around pretty good. Okay, that's how many, you can notice that he got a lot more than I did. Of course, he was the fellow that is a DXer. He's been on like 17 DXpeditions. And so he mostly used the beam antenna, where I used the dipoles, and we had a vertical. You'll see those later. But we got 12,000 contacts, which is quite a few. We had a villa on the north shore of Tortuga at Cooten Bay, about 200 yards from the ocean. And we both had K3s, and he had an ACOM amp, and I had a Expert 1.3 KFA. We had a 2-element hex beam for 20, 17, 15, there you go, up about 25 feet on a 33-foot push-up aluminum mat. We had a crank IR up for 80 and 10 meters, 2 and 10 meters. And we had dipoles for 160, 40, and 30. And laptops, and he brought filters along, which was very good because that kept us separate, and we could work different frequencies at the same time without much interference. Operating time, 7 days, 20 hours, start to finish. So we did pretty good. There, another QSOs again. He worked 103 countries. And I worked 81 countries, so 1,047 QSOs a day. This is my first DX, and I thought I had everything lined out. But when I got there, my computer wouldn't work automatically on CW, so I had to hand key everything. And the FT8, I worked with a lot of FT8 because I wanted to work Asia some, and there's a lot of FT8 going on, weak signal. It's a weak signal mode, and it worked great. So I worked a lot of 160. We had a 160 antenna up, and for the people that like top band, they call it top band. So there's the band mode breakdown. I don't know, that's for his. You see, he only worked 96 total on 160. Most of his work was on 20 and 17. That's where those were the frequencies that were really cooking. And he had the beam, and so he did very well on those two. But that's his setup.
I didn't know he didn't know what a microphone was. I was only kidding about that.
Say again?
He only had 35 Qs on single sideband. He really doesn't know what a microphone is.
Well, neither one of us worked much sideband. I worked a little bit of sideband. Mostly we worked CW. I worked a lot of FT8 and a lot of 160, and he worked the rest of it. Now, he worked some phone.
Yeah, CW is the one true mode. So.
Yeah. Yeah, for all you CW aficionados, we like our CW. Kim's a good DXer. He's got many DX countries. With Gordon Jones, if you know Gordon Jones, he's got them all.
363.
Huh?
363 is what
Yeah,
it is.
but he's in all 340 currently. And we had a guy entering US, what was his name, Ed Berkowitz?
Yeah.
He had them all. And so, you know, DX is a lot of fun trying to get another country. I worked on a wire antenna right at the start, and I got 282 countries on my wire antenna. But then when I put up my beam, I started hearing India and China and all those people. So the beam antenna's the way to go if you got room for it. Oh.
Are those, were those stats for the total QSOs, was that for both of you or just for Mark?
Just for him.
Okay.
This is his continent layout. He got, it's a straight shot to Europe. So 57, 69 from Europe. And North America, he only got 2,100. But Europe comes banging in. And we didn't do any Europe only or JA only or anything like that. I worked every Asian call sign that I recognize that I hear, and I got a few of them. He got 167. Japan in Asia is in the same direction as the United States. So, you know, you have to shoot all the way across our continent to go to Japan, and the totals show that. You know. And this is a picture out of the top floor of our chalet that we had, or whatever you want to call it. It was beautiful. You hear the roaring of the waves, you know, put you just right to sleep. There's the back of his QSO card. This is Jeff right here. And it was catch as catch can for breakfast, but he's a cook. He cooks at home, supper at home, and so he cooked all the suppers, and it was great. He was a very, very good cook. There's the kitchen.
Wow.
You're rough.
It was beautiful. It was very beautiful. And lots of screens around it, but no AC. And boy, that's something. It was 85 degrees, but it was humid. And, you know, you just felt sticky all the time, you know. And, but, you know, we got a little breeze off the ocean. At night was very pleasant, you know. I slept very well. This is the living area upstairs, and there's the kitchen. The ocean's that way. There it is. There's our chalet. You can see the terrain there. You know, you just can't string up an antenna. Like our antenna, 160 started here and went down to here somewhere, and then it went up to there, and then the other leg went down here somewhere, you know. And so it was just a really narrow angle. And when you keyed on 160, you couldn't put your fingers on anything metal because it bites you, you know. A lot of RF running around. And there's our place again. Real nice, very nice. Had everything. There's our beam antenna. He had a hex beam. And it had all the frequencies from 20 up on it.
So did you bring the antenna?
Yes,
Yeah. 35-foot pole stuck out of both ends of the airplane?
Yeah, it was a collapsible pole, as you might have imagined. And,
Still long.
And anyway, he had it so that it would fit into a small bag. It was like 6 feet long. And they allowed that. And you had to be careful when you set up your luggage that it wasn't over 50 pounds. 50 pounds is the limit for luggage, and anything over that, you have to pay a premium. We paid, I think, $80 going down because we flew United Airlines, but coming back, that first leg was Cape Air, which is associated with you, but we had to pay extra for the bag, so it was, I think I paid $140 coming back for the baggage. But you have to take everything with you. And it's a real hassle. You have to really know what you're doing, and Jeff did. There's our crank IR. It was up on the next level out there. It's on the level of the top floor of the chalet. And there's some of our antennas.
Bill,
Uh-huh.
what do you think about the crank IR?
It worked really good. It worked really good for DX. Verticals are a little noisy, and it was noisy, but it worked great. We had the radial that we stretched out in the direction we wanted to, and it was mostly pointed towards the United States, actually.
Were the radios all the same length?
It just has one radio. It's just, and you pull it out and you point it in the direction you want it to go. But I don't know what all these antennas are. Jeff put that one out. That one right there, I don't know which one that is. I don't even see the 160. Anyway, we strung them up, and that was the biggest hassle, is putting up the antennas. We had the crank IR, which was great, and the hex beam, which was great, you know, because they're all confined. But then the dipoles, you know, it's just murder to put those up. I think that's our 40 right there. We put it up on the side of the chalet, of the house. And there's a picture of where our hex beam and then the crank IR is right here. Hex beam. But it was real interesting putting up the antennas. You had to be, you had to think outside the box, you know.
Bill,
Yeah.
did you use that crank IR on several bands, or did you just use it on?
Mostly on 80.
Yeah,
We use
you
it
had to
on.
run outside and.
Yeah, he did that mostly. He had worked with the crank IR, and he knew how to, you know,
Yeah.
crank it around. We had a little trouble with it. It has two spools, and when you crank it up, one spool gets full, and it pulls the other one, and the other one's not making as much, you know, and so you have a lot of trouble with that.
Bill, how were the winds there?
Very light, you know, at night, every once in a while we'd get some gusts, you know, but, all in all, it was very,
You just
very.
use guide wires or guy wires on?
Yeah, we use guy wires on the, everything, on the crank IR and on the hex beam. I'll show you that in a minute, I think. That's me. This is Road Town. That's the biggest place. It's on the south part of the island. We took a little tour of the island for fun. And there's Jeff. And that's one of the bays that we took a picture of. And that's our airplane that we flew on, those Cape Airs. Right there, that's a Cessna 402. It was a puzzle jumper compared to. There's a picture of our hex beam. And, not sure where the crank IR is. There's a crank IR at the other end of the pad. No, that's the hex beam. We had a little problem in finding a place to erect the hex beam. And so we have, that's a barbecue pit there. And so we attached the bottom to the barbecue pit and then put the radials out. And it held up really well, you know, and we'd go and we could turn it a little bit and in the directions we wanted to go. And that's it.
So the hex beam, you had an Armstrong rotator?
Huh?
The hex beam, for the hex beam, you used an Armstrong rotator?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we did. And I don't know, Mark, can we put up the other things?
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to show them what my QSL card looks like, because I'm kind of proud of it. This is my, the summary of my stuff. Oh, that's the front of my QSL card. I had it done by Jenna D. Troyce UO5, I think it is called. But he's in Ukraine or something like that. He makes beautiful, beautiful cars. And that's the front of it, and the back of it looks like this. Yeah. And give me some of my,
Summary?
yeah, summary. Okay, this is a summary of my stuff. And you see, that's 160, I had 425 on 160. So I was the principal worker on 160. And I didn't have the beam much, but I did get about 1,100 on 20 and 1,596, almost 1,600 on 17. A lot of that was FT8. So, and FT8 goes very slow. You know, it takes a minute and a half or 2 minutes to make a contact. And I didn't know how to use the foxhound thing, so I didn't try to use that. I did a little bit of FT4, but there's not many people on FT4. So would you bring it up a little bit? These are the countries. The United States was my biggest continent, except for biggest country. But look at all the European. I thought we did a lot more work out of South America because we're so close, you know. But very few South American. Bring it on up. Go on. Those are all the countries. And so I got 81 DX entities. Is there any more to that? Yeah, they're by continent. I think Europe was almost 25, almost twice as much as North America. And Asia, 96, you know. It was tough. And every Asian station I heard, I'd work them. I'd try to work them. I'd really make an effort to do it. South America was 60. Now, I thought, golly, we should get a lot more. Africa, not many. And Oceania, just 5. So anyway, that was it. I had a great time, and but it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. You know, you put the antennas up. And of course, I'm long in the tooth, and putting up the antennas, I did okay. I mean, I paced myself. But Jeff, of course, was very strong. He was in his 60s, early 60s. So we didn't have much problem putting up the stuff. But sitting at the radio for 16 hours a day, boy, that's tough. You know, the first day is just a joy, you know. Working on all these people, they're all calling me, you know. But then after a while, it gets to be pretty much a drag.
How'd you get your wire antennas up in the trees, and were you worried about snakes and stuff like that?
I didn't see lizards. We had a lot of lizards around, but I never saw a snake there at all.
How'd you get your antennas over the trees?
We just went around them and through them, and actually most of our antennas, the center sections were attached to the chalet, where we'd have short runs of the coax. And then we tried to stretch the wires out as best we could, you know. That 160 antenna was a
How long did you say you stayed there?
We left the 3rd of October and flew down and got there in the evening and slept and put up the antennas that morning. And I got on the air. He had to go back to the airport to pick up a bag. His mast didn't get there. And so he brought that back. And so we spent some time putting up antennas and stuff like that. And then, of course, we had to take them down. We stopped in the early afternoon of the last day and took all the antennas down. And the hex beam and the crank IR left a couple of dipoles up so we could work, and they were easy to take down the next morning. We left on the 13th to come back. And so we had almost 8 days of operating.
Had he been there before?
No, but he's been to a lot of different places. You know, he was in Easter Island, and he's made a lot of the little Caribbean islands and stuff. And I think he's been on 17 DXpeditions.
Did you did you use any propagation predictions to decide when to operate where and what to look for?
20 and 17 were jumping during the day, and we'd listen on other frequencies and see if they were open, and if they were open and sounded like they might be working, we would work them. But 20 and 17 were the big ones. I got on 160 the first day, first evening that we were working. I got on 160, and boy, people were calling me. I worked about 125, 130 stations on 160 that first night, and I thought, boy, this is going to be a breeze. 'Cause 160 was never open again.
I remember being on 160, and I listened a lot.
Yeah. For the first day we were there, I was on 160. I got like 125 or 30, and boy, they were just calling. And for 160, that's pretty good. I mean, I did that in the space of 2 or 3 hours.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Bill, was there any local hams on the island that you made
There are
contact?
some local hams. When I got my license, they sent me a list of them. There were about, 10 or so.
Uh-huh.
And, but you don't hear them very much. I don't hear British Virgin Islands a lot.
Yeah.
So, it was 137 on the most wanted list, but it was high on the Asian most wanted list because they have a lot of difficulty.
Did you have trouble working the Asians because they had to come across the North
Yeah,
American
I think
wall?
so. I think so.
Were they just covered up?
But, you know, the Asian stations I worked, they were there, you know. I mean, I heard them well. They weren't, but, and I'm sure that there were a lot of them calling that I didn't hear.
But you never did an Asia only?
Huh? No. I never did an Asia only. But, you know, like I say, the ones that I heard very well, you know. On CW and FT8, I had good signal.
I'll just ask, what type of investment does this take?
All right, Jeff and I flew down, the flight was a little over $1,000. The chalet was, the house that we lived in, that was expensive. It was like $340 a day. And that was, for 10 days, that's $3,400. And so we split that. Car cost $525. And so I, you know, and going down the baggage and all that stuff, I figure I got about $3,250 invested in the whole trip. And that wasn't bad, you know, I didn't think.
Better than I thought it would be.
And, you know, I've used OQRS, and I've got about $700 out of OQRS and the direct QSL cards. But, you know, the QSL cards cost $89. And when I send to a foreign country, it's $1.15 for the stamp, and, you know, and OQRS is really handy because when you get a card request through OQRS, they have a printing application in OQRS, and you can just print out the addresses and the QSOs.
Explain what
Oh, you're right.
OQRS,
Huh?
Explain what OQRS is.
It's the online QSL service by Club Log is what they call the site, and you can upload all your contacts to Club Log, and when other people upload, other people can go to Club Log and see their see their contacts, and they can request a QSL card either by the Bureau or direct from OQRS. And so all you have to do is go to OQRS. If you're a member, it'll put up all your QSOs and times and everything. So you don't have to do anything except pay the money. And usually it's $3 to $5 or $6 for your QSL card. But it's very easy to use, very user-friendly. Get on it and upload your contacts and sign in. It doesn't cost anything. It's done by donations, so it works very, very well.
And I'll just add something, just in case somebody thinks, gee, $5 for a QSL card? You gotta be kidding.
Well, you know,
Well, if you wanna do it direct, you're gonna have to send them a minimum of $2, pay for the postage to get it there, which is another $1
and back,
15.
well, usually, and back.
Yeah, and so it's gonna cost you at least that, just to do it yourself. Oh, and by the way, mail pilfering is a big deal in certain countries,
Yeah.
usually the rarest ones. And they know who the hams are, and so, they know what these guys get. So a lot of times, your card may never make it.
Well, you know, if you send a card to like Europe, well, it's $1.15 for the stamp, Global Forever stamp. The envelopes maybe a nickel. The QSL card, you can't order less than 1,000 of them. So you order 1,000, it's $90 for a nice card. That was a pretty nice card. It cost $90. Then you have to buy labels for the QSOs, where you can put out the labels, the address labels and the QSO labels. So you've got, well, and I sent out about 250 to 300 cards. So you take that and divide it into $90, you're looking at just about 30 cents a card. Because the other 700, I was gonna sit in my house until I die, and then my kids are gonna throw them away. So anyway, but the cards are like 30, 35 cents or so. So you're not making any money on that, it takes a lot of time to put the stickers on and stuff, and it's a real hassle. But OQRS makes it so much easier. You can print out the stuff, all you have to do is put it on the QSL card, put the QSL card in there, put the address label on and the stamp, and it's gone. So it wasn't much of a problem at all.
Bill, what was the licensing like to get your?
Jeff had already secured his license, so he gave me all the information I needed to send down. And you just have to fill out a form and send it down requesting a license. And then you have to send a form down to allow them to charge your credit card, because that's about the only, and it was $20 for the credit card charge for British Virgin Islands, but we happened to hit a time where they're having a special, and it was only $10. So the license was very easy to get, and the people, we worked online with them, and they were great to work with. They just, they did a really good
How
job.
long is the license good for?
It's good, it's still good until December 31st.
ARRL has they have a group that will help you get those licenses. Did you have to do that, or
I
Jeff
didn't.
had already done that?
Jeff had already fixed it up. He knows the ins and outs of all the stuff since he's been on 17 DXpedition. So he sent me the stuff, and I just went to the site, and I think he sent me the form and stuff, and I just printed it off and filled it out, and digitized it, and sent it down there, and just a couple of weeks, and I had my license. And it was no problem at all.
I'm curious, Bill, how much, I mean, you were a radioman for the Coast Guard, which means you were down on 500 kilohertz and below.
Uh-huh.
How much does that help you on 160?
Well, I don't know, it's almost all the same, you know, either you can hear them or you can't.
Yeah.
You know, if you hear them, you might be able to work them. If you don't hear them, there's no use calling them, you know, but, 500 was our main frequency.
Yeah.
Ships, and it's amazing how well that works, on a ship. You get on 500 kilocycles on a ship, and you got all this beautiful salt water underneath you, and boy, you work anybody pretty much.
That's as close as you're gonna get to the infinite ground.
That's right.
So, you were in the sea roughly 16 hours a day.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about that, and
it's
that's quite an iron butt.
it's tough, and sometimes it was longer than that. You know, I only sleep about 6.5 hours, and eating time and taking a drink or something like that. Otherwise, I was at my radio, or at an antenna, or changing antennas and stuff. So, you know, most of it's sitting there. Of course, I just wore a pair of shorts, really light, and a t-shirt, and but sitting there, my feet swelled. Now my feet, I mean, I don't have any problem with water retention or anything like that, but walking around barefooted, sitting in a radio for 16 hours a day, your feet swell up something fierce. And of course, that's all gone away now, but at the time, you know, it didn't bother me, except that I noticed it was kind of strange, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just occurred to me that when you're sitting for that long, you're at risk for, what do they call it, deep venous thrombosis?
Yeah.
You gotta get up and move around a little bit, or you might die. You know, and it's great, the expedition, but it's not worth that.
Well, you know, when you work for an hour or so, and you get up and walk around a little bit, take a drink, maybe snack or something like that, then come back for a few hours, but it was mostly sitting at the radio.
Was everybody pretty well behaved?
Well,
Not
Jeff
you,
and
Mark, but I mean.
Jeff and I got along pretty
Yeah,
well.
no,
And the lizards didn't bother us that
Yeah,
much.
how about the rest of the operator?
We had a couple of favorites.
Yeah, named them, yeah. But how about the DX that you were working? Were everybody pretty much doing what you needed and?
Yeah, they were very well behaved. It depends mostly on the operator. It depends mostly on you controlling the frequency, because that's your frequency. And a lot of DXers you see they work duplex. You stand on one frequency and listen a few kilocycles up. Well, people will call you on your frequency, on your sending frequency. And I've seen DX stations that would go down there and answer on there. Well, you don't want to do that, because if you answer on your sending frequency, then everybody starts calling on your sending frequency. So you can't. You have to be strict about it and make the people.
I do have another question. It used to be, back in the good old days, that you could discover a pattern for the DX. If I'm working the DX, I can discover a pattern of how they work the stations on split. They'd move up 200 hertz every Q and have to do it. They do that for 5 and then they come back down.
Yep.
Did you follow any kind of pattern, or did you have a scope display with a waterfall and you just clicked on the signal that you looked at?
I didn't use the pan adapter at all. Just my radio, and I just go up to the top, and then most of the time I just come back all the way down again and then go back up. So I was always going up usually.
That's why I got you so.
Okay,
Because I found.
yeah, I worked Kim, and I worked Connie Marshall, and a few guys that I recognize, but
I think I only worked you once, Jeff.
Right there,
Yeah.
Connie,
1740.
well, I worked Connie Marshall about 5 times.
What's his call sign?
K5CM, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've 5 times. So,
Would you do it again?
I'd love to do it again. If Jeff goes on another one and he'll let me go, I'd go on another one, yeah. It was very pleasant. Like I say, the transportation was murder. I mean, I'm 83 years old, and I'm here lugging all this luggage around. I've got 100 pounds of luggage. Well, I have this I bought a little two-wheeler, you know, but, you know, I had problems with that too, because the luggage was so big, and some of the aisles were very narrow, you know, you had to carry it a lot of times. And you had to take all your radios out, and to put them all back in, and we did that several times.
Is that for security?
Huh?
You had to do that for security?
Yeah, for security, TSA. Now, the TSA was very thorough. And also, you know, the agriculture. Did you got any oranges with you, or, you know, all that stuff, you had to go through that. And it was just, you know, it was just a murder, but, all the legs of the air flight were very well, arranged, and we didn't have very many long layovers. And so it worked very, very well. Jeff's good. He's very good at planning. He plans everything right down to the last, you know, little niche, and he tests everything he's got, and that's why his stuff all worked. He only had one problem. His linear started giving him problems, and it was making some fierce noises, but that was his only problem. His computer worked great and everything. My computer wouldn't work, and I had a little bit of trouble with my linear, but not very much. It's mostly my computer. It kept going berserk, you know.
How, was it a problem with RF getting back?
I guess it was the RF, because all our antennas were strange. The configurations were all strange, and so I guess that was the problem. But I had to like hand key everything, and that was a really, really big hassle. And you know, on a computer, you have to just hit a button and it sends what you want. But keying, it's a lot different, you know.
Bill, do they use the same power outlets? Was there any conversion that you had to do or preparation you had to do for that?
They have 100 volts are there, and their plugs are all the same as ours. We had one problem with grounding because we needed three-prong plugs, and Jeff didn't bring any, so he had to go out and buy some. And when we used those, then things cleared up a little bit, you know, when we got the three-prong plug. But it's like 100 volts, 60 cycle, I think, 50 or 60 cycles, and we didn't have any trouble with the power.
Kind of dangerous, older people, with all that RF around them.
Say again?
Kind of dangerous.
I don't know how dangerous it
Older
is.
people, with all that RF going.
Well, you know, I work high power most of the time. When I turn on my radio, I'm putting out 1,500 watts. And so I'm sure I got RF zipping around.
Got enough RF?
As a matter of fact, I bought a really nice monitor, and it's one of those touchscreen monitors. Now, you need a monitor that's got a switch that turns it off and on. Because those touchscreens, when you key it, it goes off. It goes completely off and turns off, and so you can't use it.
Yeah, life's too short for QRT.
There you go, there you go.
All right.